All right, so here is the video where I show you guys what I got in April. I got a lot of cool stuff. I got some Blu-ray, got some 4K, got some Steelbooks, got some Star Wars stuff, just a little bit of everything really, and I'm excited to show you guys. So let's just sort of dive into it. So first of all, I found this on Blu-ray. This is one I had already had on DVD. I'd seen it a while back. It was a solid film, and when I was looking for it to own it, because I had seen it on streaming first, this seemed to be a hard copy to find. Found it on DVD, and it wasn't really all that inexpensive, but to get the Blu-ray online, it kind of was. So to find it used in a movie store, it was one of those things where I was just like, okay, if I want to upgrade this to Blu-ray, it's time to do it now. So I picked this up, and for a used film at a movie shop, this wasn't really all that expensive at all. Which was kind of crazy because this is kind of pricey online, at least last time I was looking online to try to find it. So now it's into my collection, upgraded as the Blu-ray format now. And then this is another one that I had on DVD that I upgraded to Blu-ray. Case 39. This is a movie I saw a while back, and I really want to see it again. I kind of want to gain a new appreciation for it because I saw it as a kid. I don't think this is the first horror movie I watched, but this is definitely in the earlier days of before I actually watched horror movies continually. This is one of the earlier ones, even though it's really not all that scary at all, or at least the way I remember it. But who knows, maybe it is. So I got to give this a rewatch at some point and see if it really holds up the way my memory tells me that it holds up. And then this one, got not that long ago, we have Abigail on 4K. This one I had on Blu-ray. They've released 4K, they've released a Steelbook. This movie's pretty much on all formats now, so to have it on 4K is pretty cool, and I look forward to seeing it again. This is a solid film. This was wildly entertaining. It kept my attention pretty much the whole way through, and I think I'm due for a rewatch for this one, honestly. Excuse me. So, now here's another one. That this is movie of the year. This was by far the best horror movie I've ever seen. I think pretty much everyone can agree that not only was this one of the strongest franchises as far as remakes are concerned, but one of the strongest entries to a franchise, and that is The Strangers Chapter 3. Now, if you saw this in theaters like I did, if you were one of the privileged people who got to see this perfection on the big screen in theaters before it was somehow yanked for theaters because of performance issues or something. Not only was it a box office hit, I think the displayed acting and writing and sort of everything involved made this, I think, one of the most immaculate Strangers movies, probably the whole franchise. I'm absolutely bullshitting. This is one of the worst movies I've seen. But why did I own it? Because I'm a completionist, all right? I love the Strangers movies, or at least the original one. The second I thought was fine. Strangers Pride Night I thought was fine. The Strangers Chapter 1 I thought was okay. It was a copy of the original, but for all intents and purposes, it didn't really do anything that pissed me off or seemed like it was a waste of time. It was a copy, but I thought there were a couple of intriguing moments from Chapter 1 that I thought, if explored properly in a second or third film, could become interesting, but it just never happened that way. So anyway, I have Strangers Chapter 3. I am done with this franchise now. I own every movie in this franchise now. I hope that's the last of it. There's rumors, there's some YouTubers that I've been watching. Some are suggesting that there is a possible Strange Chapter 4, although I don't know how. But apparently there is talks of the possibility of the chance of the maybe being in Chapter 4. I don't know why, but I really hope there really isn't. But if they do make one, I'll have to check it out just to see if it's worse than this, because I know it can't be, but I said that about the second, and then they made the third. So anyway, there's that. Done with that one. Now another one that I actually really did enjoy. This was interesting. I think this cover art is really, really cool, or poster, whatever it technically is, for Primate. I really love the cover of this. This was a shot from the movie. I can't recall. I think this was one of the posters for the movie. I just really love this shot. I think as far as horror movies are concerned, this one's really, really cool. So this one was interesting. It was definitely better than I was expecting it to be, but there was also a lot of stereotypes I just kind of ran into that I was expecting. So overall, this was fun. Was it one of the best ones? No, but this was fun. So I really enjoyed it. I always have loved apes, and I don't really know why. I guess that's just the Planet of the Apes fan in me. So to see apes sort of go bad, basically, as the generalization of this movie, it was fun. It was intriguing. I guess maybe it's not for everyone, but if you love seeing apes do criminal things, I guess, if that's up your alley, then I would check this one out, because that was up my alley and I thought it was fun. Now we got this one, this A24, we got Marty Supreme. Now I know he's made some comments and interviews that are a little suspect, but I really do think his performance in this movie was really good. I'm not the judge of whether or not it was Oscar worthy. I think he did a really solid job in this film. I thought it was written pretty well too. There's a lot of twists and turns. I thought the intensity was written pretty well. I was on the edge of my seat for various different moments during this movie. And like A24, you always get something extra, I think it's this side, that comes in it. So you take it out of here, you have sort of that image of him. You got this on the back, and when you open it up, of course you got images from the inside as well. And you got art cards, which I won't take them all out now. I'll take them out and show you a little bit of it. So you just get like art cards that come with it, and they're all pretty interesting. This is standard for A24. It's just one of those companies that sort of rewards you for buying their product, which I love when companies will do that, especially A24, just because I feel like it makes it worth collecting the physical movies. So this one was solid. I would definitely check it out if A24 is your thing. If you like the cast in this movie, I think it was well written, and I think there's a lot to enjoy about it. There's definitely some wacky, weird stuff in here, but it was an enjoyable film altogether. And then now we got a steelbook I'll show you guys. So we'll get to I'll take the wrap off and we'll see the back together. This is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. This, unfortunately, I don't think performed the way I think it could have or even should have. But this was a strong entry to the franchise. I really love what they were doing with it. I really loved the storylines they chose for the characters involved. And it wasn't the most traditional zombie movie, sure. But the storylines they went with our remaining characters, I thought everything was just so interesting. I was just fascinated by the world building, if you will. There was a lot of world building in this movie, as far as what the infected are. What do they see? What do they think? What are they imagining? Are they really zombies? The whole question of what are they? That's really explored in this film, and it sort of throws some twists and turns. I thought it was just entertaining. So let's go ahead and take this off, and we'll see what's on the back of this. If I can get the wrap off around the J card, which is weird that the J card is sort of on the bottom. They used to always be on the top. But so, let's see what the back is. That's pretty neat. It's actually really cool. That's a sort of, I don't know if you can tell by the crappy lighting in my room, but this is supposed to be, I think it's all like the bone structures from that location. So I think this is pretty cool. Even if it's not supposed to be, even though that's what I think it is, this is pretty cool. So, I wasn't sure about this franchise when I started. I thought this was just going to be another zombie franchise, and I've really fallen in love with these movies. I think, of course, the original is really, really good. 28 Weeks Later, I thought was fine. It's definitely, I think, my least favorite of the ones I've seen so far, but not because I didn't like it. It's only my least favorite if they have to be ranked. But I like 28 Years Later and 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. I think they're both extremely solid entries into this franchise, and they both had something wildly different that the first two, neither of them had. So I really love this movie a lot. I really hope we get the third installment, even though it seems like it might be questionable, or it might at least take a while. But I really hope that we can get this third movie, because I'm excited to see where the stories are going, especially if you've seen this. It's not an end credit scene, but the ending scene sort of sets up what the next one would feature, and I think there's some exciting things in the next one. So I really hope we get it because, one, I hope they keep giving us these beautiful steelbooks, and two, I think it's a very interesting franchise. So here's hoping it continues. And now this is one I really had tried to go after for a while, and it kept going out of stock every time I was ready to buy it or I was looking for it, and it was just became this problematic hunt that seemed like it was never going to end. But I finally got my hands on what I now would consider one of my favorite pieces of my collection. It's not something incredibly fancy, it's not something necessarily incredibly expensive. This is just a steelbook for one of my favorite movies, at least of recency, and I think it's definitely one of the best looking steelbooks in my opinion. So I'm going to keep it sealed, which makes the lighting crappy, so it's just whatever. But we have the steelbook for the Black Phone 2. There's something about the eerie shot of this that I just love. I mean, I know some people struggled with the aspects of this movie, like the vision sequences being all grainy. I thought it was artistically a very interesting choice because it was very easy to visually separate those sequences from the rest of the film, and it sort of felt like a world of its own almost, which I think just grappled me into the world of the Black Phone even more by doing that, by having that visible separation. So there's really no complaints about this movie at all from me. I really loved it start to finish. I think the acting was incredible. The writing was really, really good. I thought pivoting the screen time from brother to sister to give her more story in this sequel was a very interesting choice, and I think it worked extremely well for this movie. So of course the bag got the J card because it's still sealed, which this is one I want to leave sealed. This is, like I said, one of my favorite horror movies, at least recently. So I'm so glad I have this one. This was a steelbook I was really looking for, and I think as a collector, it's just cool to have these little accomplishments where you have something in mind that you really want to find, and then you have spurts of failure, but then when you find it, get your hands on it, it's just satisfying. I don't know how else to describe it. Maybe I sound like an idiot and for sure a dork, but I don't know. It's just really cool. So yeah, I'm really glad I have this. And now we get to the Star Wars segment of this video because May is pretty much right around the corner. It is May as of today. So we got May 4th coming up. We got the Mandalorian Grogu coming up. We got Star Wars announcements coming up. Star Wars is on a non-stop train right now. If you're a Star Wars fan, you know there is so much to come. Now, whether you're excited for all of it or not, there are plenty of announcements coming nonetheless between video game, the next movie after Mandalorian, more TV shows for sure. Hasbro has released several of their figures. There's more Funko Pops as always. There's more Grogu merch as always. There's just something for, I think, everyone. So it's at a really strong point right now. Plus, I've been a fan of Dave Filoni forever, so to see him sort of take charge with these projects, like he has been with Maul Shadow Lord, which has been one of the best shows, I think, to date for Star Wars. I think Star Wars is just, it's only going up from here. So I decided to go back and try to complete my 4K collection for Star Wars, and I started with A New Hope. So if you saw my video last month, I got the prequels because they were on sale, all three on 4K, and now I got A New Hope on 4K. It's original Star Wars, and I'm not going to be the guy to try to rank Star Wars because Star Wars fans are absolutely toxic. Everyone has their own opinion. Every Star Wars fan thinks there's another Star Wars fan that's absolutely wrong. I'm just someone that can appreciate all of it. Did I enjoy the sequels less than the rest of the films? Yes. But for those who enjoyed it, even though I personally didn't enjoy the sequels, I don't want to take that away from someone who did. I mean, if you have these young children that see the characters in Force Awakens, and it's their heroes, there's something they love about it, why would we take that happiness and that joy away from those children just because it's not for us? Look at the TV shows. Andor, in my opinion, is probably one of the best Star Wars TV shows. It wasn't for everyone. Take Skeleton Crew. That's a show that some people really enjoy. I haven't watched it and I have no interest in it. But I have no interest in taking away the joy from those who enjoyed that show. So I think that's what Star Wars should be. That's as that's as ranty as I'm going to get about Star Wars. So anyway, we have A New Hope. I really appreciate the original. Of course, is where it all started. It's hard to compare this one to so many of the others because you have people say the prequels have better looking lightsaber fights or the sequels may have better technology. This came out so long ago, you can't compare the technology to something that came out a few years ago. You just can't do that. So I absolutely appreciate what this stood for, what it did. Plus, I think the coolest thing about Star Wars, especially this one, you look at so many other franchises. You look at like Marvel or DC. There's so many large franchises, or even Lord of the Rings, wildly successful movie franchises. They have a source material. They had either comic books or novels to fall back on, these stories where these movies and their characters originated from. When George Lucas created Star Wars, there was no source material. There was no comic books. Yes, he made a novel that sort of came out with the release of the movie, but there wasn't some comics or books or anything that existed years prior to this movie. This was a completely original idea. And look at what Star Wars is today. How many movies are there? How many TV shows, video games, books alone? Thousands. I mean, this really spawned a franchise, and I think that's a testament to his ideas. I mean, clearly Star Wars has become such an iconic franchise in today's culture that it's easily recognizable whether you watch Star Wars or not. I mean, Baby Yoda, everyone knows who he is now. That's how big Star Wars has become. So anyway, it's enough about that because I also have Empire Strikes Back in 4K. As a kid, I watched the original trilogy first and then the prequels. But I also grew up with the Clone Wars, so I've always had sort of this bias for the prequel era. But I do have such an appreciation for the original trilogy as well. I know for a lot of people who saw The Empire Strikes Back in theaters, that nostalgic, iconic moment from this movie definitely plays a hand in why it is so many people's favorites. Although this personally isn't my favorite Star Wars, I think it is an absolutely incredible film, and I love rewatching this one. So, have this one on 4K, which is really, really cool. And then last but not least, we have Return of the Jedi in 4K. This is really, really cool. The reason I think I love this movie so much is just an epic conclusion. That's what this gave us, and that's what Revenge of the Sith gave us as well, which is why Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi are my two favorites, because of that epic conclusion to everything. I just really love a good final battle, and both movies gave us so much of that. So to have this in 4K is really cool. And then the last thing for this video, because The Mandalorian and Grogu's coming up, I've wanted to get The Mandalorian on 4K, but it's been difficult because they're steelbooks, they're Disney, and they're pricey. So I couldn't find The Mandalorian Season 2, but I could find The Mandalorian Season 3. So here is The Mandalorian Season 3. Now, although a lot of people, I feel like, had more issues with this season than the others, I do think there are some strong storylines in here. I wish there was a little bit more clear direction with some specific characters and specific storylines. But regardless, I think this season is ultimately what's setting up this movie, and I'm excited for the movie. So let's see what's on the back. That's pretty cool. So we got some sticky stuff here. Go ahead and remove that. This is cool because this is on the plains of Mandalore. This is really cool. We got the armor, we got paws. This is some really cool artwork. I really like this. And of course you got the N1 up here. So yeah, I'm definitely going to get season 2 at some point. It's just a matter of finding it for an affordable price. So, all right, that is what I got. Here are my movies. Let's see if I can get them into one frame here. This is what I have picked up for April. Thanks for watching. Can't wait to show you guys what I'll ultimately end up picking up during the month of May. All right, that's it. Until next time.